Imitate, innovate, invent, a path to discovering your creative style. Your unique creative style may feel a little intimidating when you first begin thinking about it and playing with what exactly it will look like. The pressure to create something completely original from the very beginning can dilute the potency of your invention before you even allow yourself to get started. The gentle path with least resistance is to begin with imitation, then move into innovation, and you will naturally arrive at invention with your own creative style. You subconsciously have been following this path your entire life. Look at the development of most children. Most of their actions are modeled on the way they see what is happening around them. They imitate. Through their play, they naturally innovate. They add things together, they try something new, and like how it works, and then all of a sudden, something completely new emerges from their play in an invention of their own, leaving the adults wondering where that thing their kid did or said even came from. This invention likely still carries elements of their imitation and innovation, but it is fresh in the way it carries their unique style. This process is natural for children because they do not have their mind chiming in, trying to convince them that they cannot be innovative or inventive, or that there is no point to their play. When you don't think about it, you are natural at this process too. The things we think the most about are the things we make much more complicated than they could be. And the more we think about it, the more our creative energy becomes diluted around this creative idea or project. The problem is that it is often the things we care about the most that we think about the most. Give yourself the grace and patience to play with the process of imitation, innovation, and invention, to explore and embrace your own creative style. Imitation, modeling the actions and expressions we see others performing. This can be in all kinds of ways through all realms of life. When a child who loves to sing first learns this form of expression, they will often imitate the singers that they love or the adults in their life that they see and hear singing. They will sing their songs, attempting to emulate the magic and style of their inspiration. We can see in some artists now where their inspiration came from and the last generation of singers they grew up singing along to. That inspiration is still infused within the invention of their own style that they have arrived at now. Some may still be in their innovation phase where the original is very obvious even when they have added their own flair. When you are exploring something new that you want to play in the field of with your creative energy, whether it is through singing, drawing, business, writing, gardening, any skill at all, you can apply this to any new pursuit that you desire to, or any project you want to bring to life. Anything you want to create, you can begin with imitation. When it comes to doing something brand new, something you have never tried before, your body will feel a level of fear as you embark on a path full of unknown terrain. You can tune into this fear as an invitation for expansion, rather than listening to the mind's interpretation of the fear and allowing it to tell you that you are not capable of doing this new thing, and even worse, believing your mind when it says these things. There will always be a degree of fear and discomfort in the body when you are doing or even just exploring something new. You can let it hold you back, or you can choose to roll with it, to invite some comfort into your transition. Know that you can learn through imitating others. Imitating doesn't mean to copy other people and then monetize it straight away. It doesn't mean to steal or undermine the work or creativity of others. You get to choose your own integrity lines here with your intention behind your imitation. Some examples for me are from when I was getting into drawing and painting throughout 2021. This impulse came when I started writing some kids' books. The writing part felt really easy and flowed very effortlessly. The imagery wasn't as effortless, and I wanted it to match the magic of the words. Being around my nephew and little cousins at the time meant I was seeing a lot of kids' books and the amazing illustrations within them. My sneaky mind was telling me that my art could never be as good, but I chose to believe otherwise and know that whatever I created would be my work of art. I had never really given myself the opportunity to develop the skill of drawing outside of little scribbles in the margin of my workbooks and journals, so I began with imitation. The two things I began doing through my imitation phase was paying a lot more attention when looking at kids' books to the illustrations, how they were placed, laid out, the styles and elements that I liked, and I also spent a lot of time just Googling different images of illustrations for elements I wanted to include in my kids' books. I would copy parts into my sketchbook. Through that alone, I really impressed myself with how they ended up. These images that I copied never ended up in beside my books or shared publicly, but imitating them for my own practice really increased my confidence and my awareness around what style of drawing I like doing. This step of imitation can be used in business and our work life too. If you have had any training in coaching, yoga, accounting, teaching, any area at all, you will likely begin by imitating a lot of what was taught to you. The language your teachers used and the way they phrased or explained things, the processes and structures you were taught, all of this is imitation and is a natural beginning step. When imitating in the beginning of your business, you may imitate the way you see others that you follow post on social media or the way they launch their offers or run their programs. Again, it is up to you to draw your lines of integrity. There may be times where you deem it necessary to credit your inspiration or to show appreciation for their influence in some way. There are times when imitating the surface or structural elements of another's business are okay, but I would say that imitating their content or depth of their messaging is never okay, unless you are crediting them as the source and then adding on or asking them for permission when appropriate. Through playing with your delivery of what you have imitated, you will naturally move into innovation. Innovation. After your solid foundation and understanding, you begin to build on that foundation by adding your unique flair, adding and merging different elements and integrating more of you into your creation. Innovation is adding value to something existing. This may be in the form of a new business offer that you run differently to your last one by adding in and taking things out of your imitated first version. You may adjust an existing project. Our creative impulse drives us to improve upon our creations so that new life is constantly flowing through. You may innovate with the inventions of others too, adding value to the foundation they have built. Through your innovation, you begin to intertwine your creative flair with your art, but there is still much of the old structure or foundation left, so it isn't quite a unique invention of your own yet. This doesn't make it less valuable at all. It is just another step in the natural evolution of your artistry. Invention. Your completely unique creative style expressed and manifested in the world. Your unique inventions can still carry hints of inspiration from others at times, but they are birthed from your originality, from your own depth. It is something that came directly from you. Your inventions make way for your creative style and expression to be transmitted throughout the world. Some of your inventions may not need you to go through the first two steps of imitating and innovating first. Some will spontaneously emerge from the core of your being. Other inventions may be building up in energy for decades, being fueled by different creative imitations and innovations all combined. Often it takes patience and trust to fully discover your unique creative expression and how to harness that into your inventions. You may find that you prefer only to innovate, to add value to what others create. The way you do this may capture your inventiveness. This is not a linear path. Like life, your creativity flows in spirals. Your unique creative expression can never truly be imitated in a way that infuses your creative spirit into the art. You do not need to worry about others copying you from an energetic level. Even when you imitate others throughout your journey, you are only imitating the surface and never the true depth. What is it that you have felt pulled towards, but you have been holding yourself back from even beginning? Maybe it feels too hard, or your mind is telling you that you will never be good at it. So what is the point of beginning at all? Side note, you do not need to be good at everything. Not everything you create needs to be objectively good either. Creating for the pure joy of something is enough reason in and of itself. Often our mind creates resistance by telling us that this new thing will not be easy. It will be hard, and the mind will fight against the potential discomfort because it knows that it is that very discomfort that expands us. Breathe through the growing pains and invite ease into the learning period for anything new by giving yourself grace and patience to make mistakes, to feel fear, to be a little uncomfortable, to play and grow and create all at the same time. Have fun by looking for inspiration. Imitate it for your own personal learning. Innovate if you feel called to, and allow your unique style of creation to be invented from this process. The more you lean into this with the intention to express your creative style into the world, the more turned on and up your creative energy becomes, the more effortless this process becomes, and also the more efficient. Until you have moved through this, The thought that you could invent something completely original will seem unrealistic, and it is unrealistic until you tune into your own creative power and allow yourself to take the first step in the direction you want to go. An important caveat to this process of moving through imitation, innovation, and invention is to allow yourself to keep moving into new steps and layers. Staying in step 1 of imitation forever will not serve your creativity, expression, or sense of fulfillment and enjoyment in whatever you are doing. You don't need to hide behind imitation in fear that you won't arrive at your own style. Imitation can become a shadow to hide in that leads to a life of mediocrity. As explored by Richard Rudd in his book The Gene Keys, Embracing Your Higher Purpose, the transmission of the 8th gene key shares that the fear of the 8th shadow, like all shadow frequencies, is founded upon a specific fear, and in this case, it is the fear of being different. The shadow of mediocrity keeps you from thinking outside the box and leads you to becoming part of the background of life rather than a major player. Richard Rudd goes on to say that to break out of the heavyweight frequency of the 8th shadow, you have to take an exciting leap of faith in yourself. The 8th gift of style is about following your own unique rebellious spirit out into the world. Your unique style is the flowering of your individuality. This can never be an imitation of another, nor can it be imitated by another. This gift within the gene keys is the cutting edge of creation itself, and when individuals surrender to the process of creation, this gift emerges. It doesn't matter if you have this gene key active in your profile or not, each of the 64 gene keys are within the collective and have threads within us. If this is the first you are hearing of the gene keys, I'm excited to be the one to give you little snippets of their magic throughout this book. If you're curious to explore more about the gene keys, I have many podcast episodes, YouTube videos, and social media posts exploring different facets of the transmission. And the Gene Keys books and websites contain a beautiful ocean of information that you can explore. Your unique style is full of genius and quantum leaps, and it is part of the journey to finding it, to travel through the shadow of trying to be like everyone else first. Unconsciously living in the shadow of imitation leads to a life of mediocrity, while being aware of the part of the story that you are in and using the energy of imitation to bring you into flow with the next natural step unlocks the gifts of your innovation and invention to create and live in your own unique style.